Alright, today we're starting on calculating volume. The first thing we're going to do is the volume of a rectangular prism, which is basically a box or a cube, something such as that. To do that, we're going to have to find three different dimensions on the cube itself. You have the length of it, the width of it, and the height of it. To get the volume of a rectangular prism, it's going to be V, which is volume, equals length times width times height. So for this rectangular prism that I have listed right here, if the length is 6 inches, the width is 8 inches, and the height is 3 inches, I'm going to simply multiply all three of these together. So I'll do length times width times height, so V equals 6 inches times 8 inches times 3 inches. So I'll do 6 times 8 is 48. Then I multiply it by 3. 8 times 3 is 24. Carry my 2. 3 times 4 is 12. Plus 2 is 14. So 144. And it's going to be inches. And since I'm multiplying three different units together, it's going to be inches to the third power. I've got three different dimensions that I'm multiplying together, so inch, inch, inch becomes inch third. Got a few example problems here. The same thing. We're going to work with the formula of volume equals length times width times height. So before we start working on these, let's go back to this other page quickly, and I want you to write volume of a rectangular prism on your desk, and V equals L times W times H, and L is length, W is width, H is height. Pause the video now and write this down. Alright, moving back to the other problems. We come over here, look at the ones in the examples in the book. This first one is it's a square prism. They're all the same, so it's going to be 5 times 5 times 5. So volume equals length times width times height. And all of these are going to be 5 for this one, so it's going to be V equals 5 inches times 5 inches times 5 inches. 5 times 5 is 25 times 5 is 5 times 5 is 25. Carry my 2. That's 12. It's going to be 125 inches, and then we have to realize that we're doing inch times inch times inch. So it's going to be inch to the third power. So volume equals 125 inches to the third power. Alright, at this time, you're going to look at this problem here. It's got the length of 4, the width of 10, and the height of 6. So using the volume equation that we have here, length times width times height for a rectangular prism, you're going to find the volume of problem B right here. Pause the video now and work this out. Show your work on your desk. Alright, at this time you should already have this worked out, all your work shown on your desk, and hopefully you have the correct answer. So we know our formula is volume equals length times width times height. So the length here is going to be 4 feet. The width is 10 feet. And the height is 6 feet. So I'm going to do 4 times 10 first, and I'll get 40. And then I have to multiply it by 6. 40 times 6 is 240. And then we're doing feet. And there were 3 of them, so it's feet to the third power. So the volume of that rectangular prism there is 240 feet to the third power, or 240 foot cubed. Because third power can also be said as cubed. Alright, the only other type of problem that we're going to have with the volume is the ones to where it's going to give you the volume, such as example 3 here. So the volume is going to be 84, and you know two sides and you have to figure out the third. So this becomes just a variable equation. So here I have 84 meters to the third equals 6 meters times 4 meters times what is the height. Alright, so what I'm going to do, I can do this one of two ways. I can multiply these together and then eliminate it, or I can eliminate them one at a time. So I'm going to start off by multiplying them together and getting 6 times 4 is 24 times the height is equal to 84 meters to the third power. Then I simply do 84 divided by 24. It will go in there 3 times. 3 times 24 is 72. Subtract it out, you get 12. Add your decimal and your 0. Bring it down. 24 will go into 120 5 times. So the missing height there is going to be 3.5 meters. Do another problem like that over here on a blank page. So I know that my volume is equal to length times width times height. If my volume is 50 inches squared, my length is 5 inches squared, or 5 inches, not 5 inches squared, I'm sorry, and it would be 50 inches to the third power, not 50 inches squared, I'm sorry. So 5 inches times 2 inches times what is the height? And I have to figure out this problem, so I can do the same thing. Do the 5 times 2, you get 10 inches times height. We have 50 inches to the third power equals 10 inches times height. So I have to eliminate the 10 inches over here. It's being multiplied, so I do the opposite. So I divide both sides by 10. This cancels out, leaving me with h. Divide 50 by 10. 50 by 10 is going to give me 5 inches equals the height. We can do one more of these examples before I let you go on your own. I'm going to do 64. 64 meters to the third power is your volume. So volume equals length times width times height. 64 meters to the third is your answer for your volume. Length times 4 times 4. And we're looking for L. So I'm going to have 64 meters to the third power equals, and we have 4 times 4 here, is 16. So L times 16 is equal to 64. So I've got to get rid of the times 16. To do that, I divide by 16. Divide by 16 over here. This cancels out, leaving me with L. 64 divided by 16. We have to write that out. It will go in there 4 times. 4, carry my 2, be 6. So 64 divided by 16 is 4. So I would end up with my length being 4 as well. So that cube, a rectangular prism, would come out looking like this. Alright, this time you should be able to start on your IXL lesson. Good luck.